What's up, guys? What we have going on this job is a little bit of an erosion slash drainage issue. So you can see we got quite a bit of washout right here, and an even bigger pit up here. Water actually did this over time. The water's been running down between this retaining wall and this timber wall over there, that little 6x6 edger, and it's been eroding the ground here. And as you can see, it's caused quite a bit of erosion, and we have a hole. So what we're going to be doing today to address this issue is extending the existing retaining wall. Kind of have the string line set up, and then we're also going to be installing or putting down some riprap rock. That'll help with the erosion, and the retaining wall or kind of help direct the water to prevent it from overflowing this side. So we're going to get the equipment unloaded. Hopefully this mist that we have stops, and we'll get rock and rolling. We're digging our trench here 2 foot wide and about 16 inches deep. And the trench will step down as we move closer towards the street because the grade is sloped that way. You can see we used some of that excavated soil to fill in that hole, that erosion hole that was there. We're going to compact that in just a little bit with the plate compactor. All right, so we have our trench dug. We have a couple step downs here, and now we're gonna get the plate compactor in there so we can compact our sub base, and we're gonna get our geo-stabilization fabric down right after that. And then we're gonna start building our base up from there. If you guys like this content, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of the finished product, and if you have any questions as well. So I just went out and picked up our paver base. What we're using here is 3/4 modified, which is basically stone 3/4 in size all the way down to stone dust. This compacts real nice, and the reason we're using this is because we don't want any water passing through our base. Sometimes when you're building a retaining wall, you'll put 3/4 clean down for the base, and your drain pipe will be down. In this case, that's not what we're doing, because as you can see, our base is much lower than the grade, so there's no place for us to run a drain pipe. I put some marks up here on the soil basically to give us a guideline of where the wall is going to step down, and this white paint represents the height of our base that we're putting in. Down there we dug a little deep, so the base is going to be kind of thick in some areas, but up here it's about 8 inches. We're putting the modified in now. We're going to do this in 3 lifts. So what that means is we'll put down about 3 inches and then compact it with the plate compactor, another 3 inches, hit it again with the compactor, and then the final 3 inches, 2 or 3 inches, because like I said earlier, there's about 8 inches of base at the top. The bottom's a little thicker, maybe closer to 10. But we do it in 3 lifts, so we have, a nice solid base for the retaining wall blocks to sit on. This wall has several step downs because of the grade change. I'll show you here how you do a proper step down. You can see I'm measuring from the bottom of the level to the top of that block. We're making sure it's 6 inches because that's the height of our blocks that we're using. I also measured from the left of the bottom block to the right of the block that's above it to make sure that is also 8 inches, because the blocks are 16 inches long. So we want the joint to end up right in the center of the block beneath of it. So this could be a little bit tricky. You got to take your time, but once you do a couple of them, you'll get the hang of it. Now I'm leveling it, because even though you get your measurement, it's not always perfect. And the other thing is you want to make sure that the bottom block is maybe up just a tad, maybe like, let's say, 1/8 of an inch. So it could use a little bit of tamping down with the hammer to get it perfect where it needs to be. And that's what I'm doing now. And we're getting ready to put another block on top. I'll check that to make sure that looks level. And a lot of times you could tell by your joints too. I mean, you use the level to make sure, but you look at the joints as well. There's going to be one more step down you can see that we're going to put in here in a second, and then that's going to finish the wall. The next step is to backfill. We're using the modified stone in front of the wall, behind the wall, and inside of the block cavities. And we're using a sledgehammer, the back of a shale bar, and a plate tamperer to compact all this. You want to make sure that's pretty tight so it doesn't hold any water. This wall is not going to have a drainage pipe installed behind it, because as you can see, the grade behind the wall compared to the front of the wall is basically the same. So what that means is it's the same amount of exposed block in front and behind the wall. So we don't have to worry about any type of drainage pipe. That modified stone won't hold any water, and the water will just flow down in front of the wall and behind the wall. Now we're getting these caps on, and the way the step downs worked out, we actually had to make a cut on each cap, not each cap, at each step down. I think we had to take about 2 inches off to make them uniform. These are just getting glued down. I believe I used the Gator Bond glue for this. The guys are dry fitting each section to make sure there's a equal amount of overhang compared to the section above it. You know, the big thing about this is you want everything to be uniform as possible. So we try to aim for, you know, equal distances in the step downs, and then you want an equal distance of overhang for all the caps as well. So now we're getting that riprap rock put in. The local quarry makes it in red, which works out nice to match this wall. And you can see we put some of that stabilization fabric down underneath of it to prevent any future erosion. All right, check it out, guys. Here's the finished product. We have all of our stone down. This is basically for the erosion control. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of water that runs through here and it was eroding. So that was the purpose of this rock. This will prevent the erosion. We have geostabilization fabric down underneath this. Whatever water flows, you know, there's a big hill back there. Whatever water flows down the hill and between this wall and this little timber border will just wash right through this stone, go out to the street, and there's actually a storm grate down at the bottom. And we had to do, you couldn't do one without the other. The water was starting to turn, make its own path through his yard. So that was the purpose of needing the wall, and the stone was to prevent the erosion. If we would have built the wall by itself, there's a very good chance the water would have eventually made its way to the base course and maybe eroded under the wall and undermined it, would have caused the wall to fail. So it was you had to do both of these steps. Time will tell. You know, Mother Nature is tough to tame. There's a huge elevation change back there. You can see that house. That area back there is about 20 feet higher than where we are right here. So all the water from that neighborhood and those streets kind of just work their way back this way, down this hill, and shoots right out to this storm drain. And the way the customer made it sound is it's like white water coming through here when we get those real heavy rains. So, but that's a wrap for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.